And there we are. We are presumably live on the air from my kitchen in Bucks County, here on the River Road, which did not flood today, to my knowledge. And I've just lost my pick, so there's a classic start to the show, the big show. Glad that you're here. Marsha's in the house already. That's good news to me. From beautiful downtown Cedarcroft. Okay, well, I can't find my pick, so what does that indicate besides just senility? That I laid it down somewhere and forgot where. That's a possibility. I could grab another, I think. Hang on. There's always a reason for everything. We have to believe that, don't we? Is it a defense mechanism in life to believe that there's always a reason for everything? Or is there really always a reason for everything? Having lived many decades now, I'm going to come down on the side that there actually is always a reason for everything. And I'm going to tell you a bizarre story tonight. I've been saving it up for a long time. I've been doing this show for a year. My friend Livingston Taylor has me beat by about 20 shows. He's done 70 shows. I've done about 55. Roger and Arlene. I understand, Raj, you're progressive moderns. I like to call you progressive moderns. And I'm just glad you're here tonight. And here's some news for you and for others involved with the Watchung Art Center, which was a hugely successful concert. Hugely successful. I shouldn't even tell you this because it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but to get a standing ovation for doing what you love with an audience that's a really hip, musically cool audience really doesn't get much better than that. Marsha was there, and so happy that you made it, Marsh. Let's see who else might show up tonight, who might have been there last Saturday night. Really one of the most rewarding gigs I've ever done in recent memory. And I'm going to do 2 songs from that gig tonight. And I'm going to tell you some mind blowers of stories. And lots to talk about, lots of stories, etc., etc. Fred Holman will be here June 3rd. Speaking of stories, he'll tell you about the time he was playing with Jerry Jeff Walker in Central Park. He'll tell you about the time he was flying with McKendree Spring and the door of the plane opened up and he alerted the pilot and the pilot said, "Hold it closed." Well, Marsh, that is one of the announcements tonight. So a great friend of mine, George Eckelman, was there last Saturday night, and he's the owner of one of the greatest venues out near me. It's only a half an hour instead of an hour. And so it's right in my own backyard. It's called the Stangle Stage at the Stangle Factory in Flemington. And they've had recording acts. Annie is here from a great distance away. She's about 20 feet, maybe, and I just found my pick. So I'm going to start out by saying that Alan, John, and I are looking for something in September. Alan's going right back to Germany, and he won't be back till August, and then I'm pretty busy in August, and I'm sure John is, but we're going to look for something because we got an offer to play the Stangle Stage that night, and so we will do that, and we'll certainly give you a good deal of notice. And I think the Stangle Factory holds more people than the Watchung Art Center. We've been talking about the graying of pop music. I just made that term up in a way, but we're talking about it because some of these people are heroes who, you know, they were saying don't trust anybody over 30, and they're playing now, vitally active, and playing concerts at the ages of 80. And McCartney's 80. Tom Rush is 80. He's on the road and thriving, not just playing, but doing great. James Taylor's mid-70s. Paul Simon just retired at 79. He's probably 80 now. But probably the granddaddy, Bob Dylan's 80. But the granddaddy of them all, and one of the guys who's got the busiest of schedules, is the great and legendary Gordon Lightfoot. And I don't do very many Gordon Lightfoot songs, and I don't think I've ever even performed this. Maybe I did once 40 years ago, but Annie was singing it around the house tonight, so I thought I would play it. It's a very, very wordy song and kind of a complex lyric to follow, but paradoxically, it's also simple in a way. You can understand what's going on. And the great studio musician from Arkansas, which is where Glenn Campbell was also from, Louis Shelton played the guitar on this. He also played on Last Train to Clarksville. He played on Diamond Girl. He played on a ton of things. There's all these great studio musicians in the world. And one of my best friends in music, David Spinoza, is one of them. This one was played by Louis Shelton. If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well, in a castle dark or a fortress strong, with chains upon my feet. You know that ghost is me. I will never be set free as long as I'm a ghost that you can't see. If you could read my mind, love, what a tale your thoughts could tell. Just like a paperback novel, the kind the drugstores sell. When you reach the part where the heartaches come, the hero would be me. But heroes often fail, and you won't read that book again, because the ending's just too hard to take. I walk away like a movie star who gets burned in a three-way script. Entrance number 2, a movie movie queen to play the scene of bringing all the good things out in me. But for now, love, let's be real. I never thought I could act this way, and I've got to say that I just don't get it. I don't know where we went wrong. The feeling's gone, and I just can't get it back. If you could read my mind, love, you'd tell my thoughts would tell. Just like an old-time movie, a ghost in a wishing well. We get the part with chains upon my feet, but stories always end. And if you read between the lines, you'll know that I'm just trying to understand the feelings that you lack. I never thought I could feel this way, and I've gotta say that I just don't get it. I don't know where we went wrong. The feeling's gone, and I just can't get it back. I got to the last verse and the lyric sheet ran out. I just printed it out without looking at it, without proofreading it, so to speak, because I probably thought to myself, who would be so dumb as to print out a lyric sheet that didn't have all the lyrics to the song? That's me. Beautiful song, one of Gordon's big hits. I have the nylon string around here for a reason, and I didn't play it last Saturday night because there's just too many details to attend to. But my friends Jim and Paula were there. Hey, Robert, a new friend, is in the house who was at the concert last week and was very encouraging. And I'm glad to see you here. Thanks, Arlene. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Marcia. Who else? Jenny. Hi, Jenny from Hagerstown, who's one of the great musicians that I've been blessed to play with in my life and has sung with the Maryland Symphony Orchestra, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Paula, you are here. Okay, and Jim, presumably. So, Jim and Paula, several weeks ago on this show, they were at the Saturday gig, but they asked for a song and more or less suggested a song. It wasn't like a formal request. But there's an interesting story behind this next song. It's a Jimmy Webb classic. And a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about dream songs, songs that were dreams. And it's amazing the significant number of songs that were dreamt. Especially, what's the most famous one? You all know it. Yesterday, McCartney had that for 3 weeks. And he was convinced that he stole it, and he played it for all his friends and said, "Have you heard this before?" And they all said no. Thanks, Robert. Rob, do you prefer Rob or Robert? He says as he instantly goes to Rob. So anyway, this song half qualifies as a dream song. Sting dreamed Every Breath You Take. So the biggest song of the 60s yesterday, the biggest song of the 80s, Every Breath You Take, they were both dreams. And Jimmy Webb was in England working with George Martin. And he had a dream, a vivid dream, and I've been having them. So this is coincidental. It's dream incidental. It's a stupid term that I just made up. But I had a dream last night. I've never dreamed in my life that I ever was another person other than myself. And I dreamed last night that I was John Lennon. That's the craziest thing. I dreamed I was on stage and we were videotaping the movie A Hard Day's Night. And I had to sing a song. I had to sing my part while they did close-ups. And the other Beatles weren't there. And here's the crazy thing. We're talking about dream songs here. And last night I dreamed an entire song that John was singing. And it was good. It was a 3-chord rocker, but it was good. And guess what? Guess what, friends? When I woke up, I could not remember it. Okay, Rob, I'm with you. When I woke up, I could not remember the song. So that happens 50% of the time at least. Jimmy Webb had this vivid dream. He said he woke up drenched in sweat and with the sheets tied in knots. And he went to the piano in England and wrote the first verse of this song. Now, Sting said he had the song in 15 minutes. McCartney had all the music to Yesterday when he woke up. But Jimmy Webb is a craftsman, and he said it took him an hour in the middle of the night to write this first verse. Now, I'm going to sing it, but I have to tell you that the follow-up after he wrote it is stunningly weird, friends. And you know what it is? It's that after Glenn Campbell had this incredible run with Jimmy Webb classics, and by the time I get to Phoenix, Glenn commissioned Wichita Lineman. He said, give me another place song. Jimmy had not written Wichita Lineman. Glenn Campbell commissioned it. The song wouldn't exist without Glenn Campbell. Then Galveston, a third top 10 song. That was a place song. Then The Moon's a Harsh Mistress, a classic, but I don't think it was necessarily a huge hit. But then Glenn was so sure that this recording he made, The Highwaymen, was going to be a hit, that he named the album Highwaymen. He named it after the song. He insisted to his record company, Capitol, that they release it as a single, and they said, no, it's not a single. Are you ready for that, friends? And Glenn, I believe, went so far as to leave the label, his home label, Capitol Records, where he had all the hits. He left the label over this issue that they wouldn't release The Highwaymen. And guess who got proved right? A couple of years later, The Highwaymen, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, who were in The Highwaymen, I forget. But they did this kind of half-assed version of it. I'm sorry. It was nowhere near as good as the Glenn Campbell version. These four gruff voice guys, I was a sailor, you know. I'm sorry my prejudices against that record are coming out, but here's Glenn's version of the great Jimmy Webb song. And why do I call it Glenn's version? Because this is the guitar part that he came up with for it, Glenn Campbell. It's not easy to do. This is a hard song, so bear with me if I screw it up a little at times. And I'm going to be reading it right off my knee here. I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Any young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his life's blood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive. I was a sailor, and I was born upon the tide, and with the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn to Mexico. I went aloft and furled the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they say that I got killed, but I am living still. I was a dam builder, crossed the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that great tomb that has no sound, but I am still around, and I'll always be around, yeah. I'll fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain, and I'll be back again and again and again and again. The Highwaymen by Jimmy Webb, with less clams than I thought. So happy about that. Now I've got to be a little snarky, I'm afraid. The Glen Campbell record, the strings are deafeningly loud in it. I don't know if that was what his record company objected to. They're obtrusive, the strings. It was a misstep. But let me recommend to you, you can find it on YouTube. There was a PBS special in the late 70s, early 80s. I'm going to say the late 70s. There was a PBS special of the Boston Pops when Arthur Fiedler was the conductor. And Glenn did 2 Jimmy Webb songs with string arrangements, orchestral arrangements by Jimmy himself. One of them was Highwaymen, and the other was, I'm laughing because there's no way I could describe this to you. I'm about to call this next song the greatest piece of music of the 20th century, so you're going to have to bear with me. That's going to sound so overblown, but the other song is a song that Glenn never recorded, friends, and it's the greatest piece of music of the 20th century, in my humble opinion, and it's called Asleep on the Wind. You can only find it on YouTube. Someday maybe somebody will master those tapes, but I don't think they will, to tell you the truth. Speaking of old gaffers still out there doing it, Eric Clapton's got a new record of blues. This is, a song he recorded on the first record of All Blues that he did, which was called From the Cradle. And why do I do it now? Because Eric recorded it on a classical guitar. He recorded it on his Ramirez classical. This is a Rodriguez, which is a branch of the Ramirez family. This was built in Madrid. And here's what it is. I won't even take the capo off. I'm drifting, yeah, like a ship out on the sea. Drifting and drifting, like a ship out on the sea. I ain't got no sweet woman in this world to care for me, yeah. If my baby would only take me back again, if my baby would only take me back again, yeah. I'd feel much better, darling, and at least I'd have a friend, yeah. Pickett Wilson. Watch this, folks. I'm drifting, yeah, like a ship out on the sea. Drifting and drifting, like a ship out on the sea. I ain't got no sweet woman in this world to care for me, yeah. Classical guitar, nylon string guitar blues. Who else plays nylon string guitar in the blues realm? J.J. Cale's lead guitar player was a guy, oh lordy, this is so hard to remember because hardly anybody knows this guy's name. If anybody knows it, let me know. It was Mac Gaiden, or Gaiden. Mac Gaiden was J.J. Cale's guitar player's name, and he played nylon string. He played nylon string blues guitar. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. You're welcome, Jim and Paula. Thanks for requesting it. It was a good request, and happy to do it. I got to tell that story about this guitar. I'm almost hesitant to. It's so mystical. I'm. Have I said this to you before, friends? I am what's called a reluctant mystic. My background is Germanic, so I'm more about logic and reason, and I was a philosophy major at Lafayette College. And that would get me nothing today. That and $2.75 would get me a decaf cappuccino. I got songs here that I don't even remember how they go, because I've been writing so much. Lord have mercy. Boy, I don't remember about 5 of these. I just read a little meme of George Harrison saying they wrote so many songs in India. You know, they wrote 30 songs in India, and they wrote the entire White Album and more so. Besides the White Album, they wrote Junk, which ended up on McCartney's first solo album. They wrote All Things Must Pass, which of course was George's title track. All kinds of stuff. And George said they went to his cottage, the 4 Beatles, and recorded like 2 hours of demos. They had never demoed an album before, but they demoed the White Album because they had so many, they had to remember them all. And George at the end said, kind of wryly, as was his way, he said, well, that session just ended up being the greatest Beatles bootleg of all time. And you can get that now on CD when you buy the White Album on CD. Well, this is a great segue because George, of course, was the #1 proponent of the ukulele of any big, well-known popster. And George, of course, drove into Tom Petty's driveway one time in this legendary incident and opened his trunk and said to Tom Petty, look, and Tom Petty looked in and he said his trunk was full of ukuleles. And Tom Petty said, what's this all about? And George's answer was, I just want everyone in your family to have one. So this is a song that I'm just learning to play. I'm going to do an original that I did last Saturday night in a minute. It got a great deal of encouragement to me by doing it last Saturday. Good feedback from the gang. But this one, I'm still learning how to play this. So I might screw it up. But it was a dark and stormy night down on the waterfront. I've had enough of walking the docks alone. I saw a friendly light and I stepped inside the door into the warm. And I said, waiter, I'll have a table for one. I'm flying solo, as you can see, my baby's gone. When it comes to love, there's nothing new under the sun. So waiter, I'll have a table for one. So I stood there dripping rain in the front lobby, yeah. I caught the waiter's eye. He didn't mind I was alone. I hung up my wet coat and I lit a cigarette. And I thought, let's move on. And I said, waiter, I'll have a table for one. I'm flying solo, my baby is gone. When it comes to love, there's nothing new under the sun. So waiter, I'll have a table for one. A crowded room can keep the loneliness at bay for a while. And tomorrow I will come back and say, I'll say, yeah, I'll have a table for one. I'm flying solo tonight, my baby's gone. When it comes to love, there's nothing new under the sun. So waiter, I'll have a table for one. Well, I got through it. It's new. I haven't recorded it yet, but I plan to. I should mention at this juncture that if you'd like to support this endeavor, and it is fully listener supported, this Here and Gone program from the kitchen, there is a tip jar, which is simply my way of saying there's a PayPal link. If you scroll up, you'll see it a couple of different places. At the very top and also in the comments section. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I don't know if I put it in the comments section tonight. Well, let me do that. Just because people have asked me in the past. They've asked me, where is it? I can't find it. So there it is. Thanks in advance. If the spirit moves you. Have you ever played Maria Elena? No, I never have. It sounds good, and I'll look into it. Perhaps, Rob, you were stimulated by, thanks, Jenny and Paula and Jim and Annie and everybody. Thank you. And thanks, Marcia. Hey, Mike Frost is here. Goodness gracious, we go back a long ways. And Mike, say hi to Nancy. And thank you for that comment. Now that last song I've hardly played at all, and this is the polar opposite. And why is it? I wrote this song over a year ago, and I'm obsessed with it, and obsessed with getting it right. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the hardest kind of song to write in the world is a blues. And my song from 1989, My Home Isn't in This World, that had 14 verses to it and boiled down to 3. Now, this new blues, or relatively new, My Way of Crying, which I think could end up being the title track to an album. And that song, and you're going to think I'm exaggerating or just bullshitting. Hi, Greg. Let me think about that. I might need a week a week's notice to do a Jackson Browne song just because I don't have any of his lyrics in front of me. But if you come back next week, I will definitely do you a Jackson Browne song. So what was I saying? How many times have I played this song? The last song I've played 5 times. This song I have played 200 times, and I'm not exaggerating. I've played the song over and over and over again, trying to get comfortable with it. And last Saturday night, I did it live with my 2 favorite friendly players, John Corba and Alan LaBeouf. And this guitar's out of tune, isn't it? And I got some really good feedback on it, so it kind of solidified my thing with it to make me think, yeah, I'm onto something. And so I'm going to now end up recording it. When I do, I'll send it to my gal pal. That's not a good way of describing her. I'll send it to my friend Bonnie Raitt, see what she thinks of it. I don't think there's any chance she would record it. It's not really her style. Well, it's her style, but I don't think it says anything that she wants to say right now. It says what I want to say. So you're welcome, Greg. Hang in with me next week and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, here's my new song that I've played 200 times. My heart is breaking, but I got no tears left to lose. As my heart is breaking, I got no tears left to lose. My way of crying is to sing and play the blues. Even when I break down, my tears still refuse to fall. Yes, even when I break down, my tears still refuse to fall. My way of crying, baby, is to sing and play the blues for you all. My eyes are dry and weary, and heaven only knows who understands. Yeah. My eyes are dry and weary, and heaven only knows. Heaven only knows who understands. Okay, this is my Yamaha Revstar. I said, that's a funny name for a guitar, and then I thought, wait a minute, I play a Stratocaster, so it's not that funny a name. Okay, inevitably, I've been maybe avoiding this, and I turned my number one mic way down. I was overdriving it, so pardon me. It's the story of this guitar and how God provided it for me. Not being facetious. Yeah, that was just completely riddled with clams. That's all right. You guys understand. Well, when was it? 15 years ago, maybe. I went over to a friend's house. His name was John Arntz. And he, for all intents and purposes, introduced me to Annie, he and his wife, Kate. They used to own the House of Coffee. I went over to his house and we were struggling, not really ahead of the game, but he always had high-end guitars. He used to play drums in Asbury Park and came up with Springsteen and people like that. He was a rival band to Springsteen's band. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that. It took me a long time to get that right. And you know what? I might as well tell you since you've commented on it, and I greatly appreciate it. Hey, thanks. A new voice heard from here. I tried my whole life to play the melody and the accompaniment to Blackbird at the same time, and I finally gave up. And I know when I gave up, 16 years ago, and said it can't be done. And then Eli was born 16 years ago, and the first week he was home, I was sitting at my kitchen table, and I thought, I don't know, I've got a son now, I've got to make him proud of me. I thought, I'll try it one more time, and friends, I just started playing it. And I've been playing it ever since. So that does have something to do with the story. So 15 years ago or so, whenever I'm over to John Arntz's house, and I pick up this guitar, Santa Cruz SJ, it's called, and I started playing it, and this horrible feeling is coming over me, like, this is my guitar. This is my lifetime guitar. And I didn't really have the money. It was a $3,500 guitar, new. He bought it new. There wasn't a mark on it. There wasn't a breath on it. And I was playing it, and everything about it was perfect. I was playing stuff on it that I've never been able to play before. If you're a guitar player, you kind of know what I mean. And I said, John, I better put this down. I am going to just be in terrible trouble if I keep playing it. And he said, listen, I don't get any use out of it. I'll sell it to you for $1,800. The current used price for that guitar, and it was in immaculately perfect condition, and the used price was $2,400 on this $3,300 handmade Santa Cruz SJ. And it was modeled after John Lennon's Gibson, as you can see. So I go home, we're talking, Annie and I are talking, thank the Lord, she encouraged me. We put it on a credit card, which I don't think I've ever paid off yet. And I proceeded then to write new songs on it, and I recorded it on every record I made. I recorded it on my Christmas album, etc., etc. But I had said to Annie one time, when I bought it, I said, look, if we ever really get in a bind and I need the money, and we need the money, I'll sell it. I'll get good money for it. And I never, ever expected that to come back on me. LeBeau is here. Hi, George. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. And really, thanks. Al, I left you a message. Let's talk about playing the Stangl stage when you get back from Germany. And I'll play a song on this guitar that I played on this guitar last Saturday night in just a minute with my dear friends Alan and John. But I have to finish this story. I can't get through it for some reason. It's too weird, this story. You're going to think I'm a mystic or a crazy, fanatic. But we got to a Christmas time, and we were in such a bind that we couldn't really get through Christmas. It was December, and I was like, we don't have money for Christmas presents. And I did a gig, and are you ready for this? This is where it gets so strange. But I'm going to hold up this visual aid and show you something. I did a gig, and when I got home from the gig, and now I had played this guitar on stage, there was nothing in it. I got home, and I took the guitar out of the case, and I heard a rattling around inside of the guitar. And do you see this? This was inside my guitar. This is a socket wrench, the smallest kind. How it ever got, somebody would have had to open my case, you follow? And in the most mean-spirited way, and this was a friendly place, it was the WDVR gig at the church. Somebody would have had to open my case and drop this inside my guitar. And I was just stunned. I found it inside of my guitar. I took it out, and my mind couldn't wrap around it, really. And then we got to Christmas. We didn't have enough money. And I'm walking by this guitar, my lifetime guitar. You know, The Gift of the Magi, that story? Well, I look at the guitar, and I look up to heaven, and I go, you want me to sell that guitar, don't you? There's a wrench in the works of that guitar. You want me to sell that guitar to pay for Christmas presents? I know it just sounds stupid and overly noble or something, and I'm not like that, but I sold it. I had a recording studio friend of mine who told me, I'll buy it off you anytime you say, and he's used it on 100 records. And he used it on the Olympics, music for the Olympics, and Eric Steckel played it on his album. And you go, well, wait a minute, what is that you've got? This is another one. After we got our head above water, I found this. And friends, here's the secret. And Marcia, you said it earlier. Everything happens for a reason. and this one is better than the one that I sold. Is that crazy? Is that just too cornball? And what can I tell you? It's true. It's a true story. It's not me making it up to be like, ooh, that sounds so Gift of the Magi. Who wrote Gift of the Magi again? Alexa, who wrote the Gift of the Magi?
The Gift of the Magi was written by O. Henry and published in 1905.
Alexa, stop. Okay, it was written by O. Henry, so it has this heartwarming ending to it, as you know. And she pronounces it Magi, which is stupid. There it is. It's real. Here's a song I played last Saturday by the great Bill Withers. Annie's been playing Bill Withers around the house. And I remembered this song. And me and John and Alan dug into it last Saturday. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, yeah. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, yeah. Wonder this time where she's gone, yeah. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, yeah. And I know, I can't leave the young thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Sunshine when she's gone, yeah. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Jenny and Annie and I are waiting to hear, I am anyway, if we're going to be playing again when Jenny comes around. And she might end up joining me here in the kitchen, and we will do our patented version of Bill Withers' other monumental classic, Lean on Me. We have a little trio called Loose Change. We used to say that our name is on every envelope you get from the bank. And so Jenny Avila from down in Hagerstown, Maryland, might be passing through these here parts in the next couple of weeks. And if she does, we're going to get her to sing Lean on Me with us. Well, Well, I'm down to my last song, friends. It went quickly. And thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting this gig through the PayPal link that's listed. I greatly appreciate it. Jesse Winchester was such a good songwriter, wasn't he? And, with the tragic passing of Naomi Judd, I felt like I knew her in a way, although I never met her. But it's so sad. But she and Winona were big Jesse Winchester fans. And one time at the height of their fame, they decided to record 3 of his songs on one of their Nashville RCA big label albums. And their record company was way, way less than enthusiastic about that idea. And in fact, told them, no, we don't want you to do that, basically. And the Judds, to their great credit, they said, you know what, if you don't want to pay for it, we'll pay for the sessions on our own, but we're going to record those songs. And of course, that was a huge windfall for Jesse Winchester. And as I understand it, he had kind of fallen on hard times. And those 3 recordings by the Judds really got him through to the end of his life. And his first album, which is just called Jesse Winchester, I believe. Here's a bit of trivia you'd never believe. You know who the engineer was in Woodstock who engineered Jesse Winchester's first album? Todd Rundgren. Yes. Good, Jenny. Good. Come on up here. So I'm going to end tonight on the song that put Jesse Winchester on the map. And Aztec Two-Step used to do this song, and Fred Holman's played it with them a million times. And Fred's coming to the kitchen June 3rd to play some bass and tell some stories. So please come back again, and come back next week. We'll have something special going on next week, Memorial Day weekend. And here's this song that I got to sing with John Corba and Alan LaBeouf last Saturday. Just a brilliantly well-written song. So I'll say goodnight with it tonight. It's by Jesse Winchester, and it's called Yankee Lady. I lived with the decent folk in the hills of old Vermont, where what you do all day depends on what you want. And I took up with a woman there when I was still a kid, and I shine like the sun to think of the loving that we did. She rode each morning and went to work, and she kept me with her pay. I was making love all night and playing guitar all day, and I got me apple cider and homemade bread to make a man say grace, and clean linens upon my bed, and a warm feet fireplace. Yankee lady so good to me, Yankee lady just a memory, Yankee lady so good to me, your memory, that's enough for me. An autumn walk on a country road, and
and a million flaming trees. She was feeling uneasy because there was winter in the breeze, and she said, "Oh, Jessie, look over there. The birds are southward bound." "Oh, Jessie, I'm so afraid to lose this love that we found." Yeah. Yankee lady, so good to me. Yankee lady, just a memory. Yankee lady, so good to me. Memory, that's enough for me. I don't know just what called to me, but I know I had to go. So I left that Vermont town with a lift to Mexico. And now when I see myself as a stranger to my birth, Yankee lady's memory reminds me of my worth. Yankee lady, so good to me. Yankee lady, just a memory. Yankee lady, so good to me. Memory, that's enough for me. God bless you. Have a great weekend. And look forward to seeing you again soon.